All right, welcome to Late Night with Theo Goodman. Today I've got DJ J-Scrilla, see if I can pronounce it, as a guest, Skrilla Ventura. And we're going to listen to the new album, Sound Money, and we're going to talk about it while we're listening to it. Now, I've only heard two of the songs that are out.
He was like, yo, do you know how happy I was?
All right, we're playing.
We're playing.
You know who voice that is?
No? I don't know whose voice that is. Whose is it?
The first one was that, I can't remember. Oh, the Hotep Jesus guy, I think, that got into Bitcoin a little bit a year ago or so. And everybody all the Bitcoin maximalists were mad at him.
That's nice.
There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin mined.
Okay.
So I try to make this like the genesis, like it's the beginning of Bitcoin. Like it's kind of like that's how the album plays out. So it's very chaotic beginning, kind of.
It's nice. So there's a picture of Howard Theater. What's that about?
That's just my SoundCloud picture yeah, that's not the album artwork.
Oh, okay.
So this is like it's a private link I've been sending to some writers and podcast people just to scoop on it.
Right on. So so how do you do that? So how do you do that nowadays? You know, it used to be, I remember actually sending stuff in the mail, sending tapes and CDs to people. So how do you do that nowadays? Get reviews and stuff?
Just reach out to writers on for this one, I'm kind of, so for this album, I kind of try to touch on, not get cheesy with it. I try to keep it in my set of underground hip hop and what I've been doing. And then
what would be getting cheesy with it? Would that be making this press release and making
I don't even mean on the PR. I mean on the actual album. So I'm trying to
maybe we could get started.
still keep my underground hip hop base, and then also
maybe just give a little
talk about Bitcoin in a relatable way to people that are into Bitcoin and people that aren't into Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So
So you're doing
it hopefully without even being a Bitcoiner, because I want to make it like a movie. You could watch a movie about something that you're not into and still enjoy it. So that's kind of the idea I was trying to get into.
So it's not this is Bitcoin. This song is about Bitcoin transactions. Let me tell you exactly. Yeah. It's not like that. It's not like that. It actually has. Yeah, that's good. That's how. Well, I definitely like what I've heard so far, and this
one right here, Satoshi Nakamoto. This is my favorite joint on the.
So I guess this is you singing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but getting to the PR stuff, on that subject, I have some underground hip hop blog and writer people I've been working with, so I send it to them. But some of them are a little scared because it's about Bitcoin and they don't really know how to write about it. And then I send it I contacted all the Bitcoin podcasts I could. I just went on top 15 Bitcoin sites type thing, and people I didn't know, I just reached out to, and some people I knew and I reached out to. And so some people, the Bitcoin side has been a little bit more easier to reach to get the PR out about it, I guess, because it's about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to touch both sides, man, without we still maintain some artistic integrity with the album, because it's not some kind of just propaganda piece about Bitcoin. I don't think it's really just a story. For me, it was more like a story of Bitcoin and kind of what somebody said to me, and it kind of made sense. It's kind of maybe if you're a Bitcoiner and you listen to this, you'll remember why you got into Bitcoin if you've been in for a while and kind of just forgot. I kind of got back to the fundamentals of what I thought I got into Bitcoin for, if that makes sense.
That's good. No, that's good, definitely. So, what's the name of this song?
It's called Satoshi Nakamoto, but without the vowels. So it's X, etc.
Right on. Okay, yeah. I was trying to figure it out. I was like,
It's written really weird on the SoundCloud actually too. Now it's all capital with SX. There's no.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you have a lot of pictures of your MPC. Do you still use that a lot, or do you use like USB controllers, or what do you like to use? Do you bang out on pads a lot, or you do like,
I'm all MPC turntables and SP 1200 and then Pro Tools. I do everything on like the turntables and MPC to start, then I'll add the SP 1200, and then I'll take all that, put it in the Pro Tools, and then kind of like the beat will usually be about like 50 to 80% done by that point when I get into Pro Tools, and then I'll add like instruments or keyboard or mix it, post production, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but I'm a big believer in hardware and the MPC sound for my sound. I like hard drums. I like dirty, dusty.
Right.
Sound, the MPC gives you that.
Yeah, sure. Well, you need something that you can play, like an instrument. Like, I don't think that's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because I think some people think, producers or electronic or sampling artists or whatever, they don't really play an instrument, but they do, and everyone has their own way of doing it. And like other MPC is you're banging on the pads or even the keyboard, the way people slice up in like Audacity. It is a mastering of an instrument. It's just a different way of approaching it than a violin or something. But you probably play the MPC like a violin in that sense.
Yeah, I can play that thing blindfolded, and then even more so on what you're saying, like the turntable, I use it as an instrument. It's like a guitar. I scratched a lot on the album, and literally, all my friends are guitarists that became turntables. They're out of this world because they already had the finger movements down. Like, because when you do turntablism, you have to have your left hand, your right hand had to be doing different things, just like a guitar. So it's like you have to teach your brain that. So making that transition is easy for a lot of guitar players.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this is Rome Street. This is the first rapper on the joint. And I reached out to rappers on this project. I only got 4 rappers on the whole project, but I reached out to rappers. These guys aren't even in the Bitcoin community. They're just guys that use Bitcoin that I listen to, that they're rappers like in general. And I heard them rap about Bitcoin, so I reached out to them. I was fans of them already. And I was like, yo, I'm doing this project about Bitcoin. You guys are like the only rappers that I know that are outside this crypto Twitter or whatever. They don't know what that is. They're just using Bitcoin because that's what they need. That's what they're doing. That's what they're using it for. They're just everyday users. So I wanted to get their perspective. I didn't want to just get a developer that has some rap skills to come on and rap about it and get all super technical. All I wanted is get people that are really making street music that use Bitcoin and give their perspective on it. That makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Totally.
And then plus it touches their fan base that, they probably wouldn't have listened. Hopefully I'll touch some of their fans and they'll listen to Bitcoin because they're on the album.
I think I heard an air horn.
Yeah.
Air horn spot.
Untraceable, anonymous, instant.
Yeah. It's hard to resist. It's hard to resist the air horn at least once in the album, right?
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed I don't have more air horns on this project, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, there's always the next album, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And when we get towards the end too, you'll see I kind of left this whole album open-ended, so part 2 can come.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you sampled the eToro ad. That's cool.
Yeah. I try to use a lot of pop voices. So I got Simpsons, I got Silicon Valley, Alec Baldwin. I got Warren Buffett talking positively about Bitcoin. I took some voices and trolled them. I got somebody talking about it's going to go to $1 million. And Cassie talking about $2 million. The math is broken. So I kept a little trolling on some songs still.
That's good.
Yeah. Can't leave the roots, Theo.
Yeah, I know. I think this is the one you have a video for, right?
Yeah, this is the first single. Yeah, this is Uncle John, and so I also, I don't know, I used Bitcoin for this album to pay for features, pay for the mix engineer. So everything was paid for using Bitcoin too.
Oh, cool.
Get the whole project done. And this guy, Uncle John, he'd mess with Bitcoin and stuff, but he didn't have a mobile wallet, so we had to download his mobile wallet to pay him during the whole process and all that stuff. And it was it's an interesting experience still, like trying to get somebody new, not new, but I don't know, man. Just it's still hard.
There's a lot of steps. There's a lot of steps. Yeah. It's a lot of.
And he left his password phrase over here. So like I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, pretty much the only way to learn is through pain, unfortunately. You know, I mean, it's really hard, and I think everybody into crypto, Bitcoin, whatever, has a story of they lost something, or, you know, whatever happened, and then after that they never forget. But it's pretty much onboarding through pain. There's so much friction, even with all the apps and everything. Like you said, you got your passphrase, you got your other stuff. What I like about this song is that it doesn't have that like super heavy beat, and it's still able to be a really good song. You know what I mean? It didn't. The production style is like, hey, we're just, you know, we're really doing like a kind of like a little bit jazz kind of style, and it's not like boom bap, like, you know, because you have that a lot. It has this kind of, you know, like you're in a room where there's kind of like people playing music and he's, you know, telling his story. So that's kind of cool. I like that production on that track.
Yeah, I thought it was a good place to put in the middle of the album. It kind of breaks up everything. Yeah.
It's really easy to make a bunch of songs that are just like boom, 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 and everything nowadays, maybe I'm sounding old, but I have the feeling everything is produced so loud and like in your face and big drops and big, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just too much.
Yeah, all anxious music and stuff.
Oh, guys, I really start to hate that stuff.
Yeah, it's a real formula out of music.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it in certain settings, I guess.
Oh, totally. Some of it is really genius and how they thought of how to drop all that stuff, but it's just so much, so loud in your face.
This joint is called Choina. The sample, when I sampled it, I slowed down this Asian sample, and it sounds like he's saying China. When the scratch is
that's good. That's good.
Every 10 minutes. Instead of the money in your pocket losing value. So yeah, that was also I think even before Trump, you know, in Bitcoin, because China used to, like, OKCoin, when it was called OKX is what it's called now, if anyone. So OKCoin used to have the most volume, and it's a Chinese exchange. And so people used to, and there was, I remember people on TeamSpeak in the chats would talk like China's dumping, or China's pumping, or whatever. Yeah. So it has a really cool reference in the crypto world, because Bitcoin is pretty big in China just in general too. There's the whole capital flight narrative. There's a lot of stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And I sampled some Chinese talking for this one. It was the president talking about how he's banning Bitcoin for one part of it, and the other part of it was Chinese miners talking about how they subvert the system. And then the end of the song kind of talks about decentralization and stuff like that. So the narrative is kind of like you control your money is better than the government controlling the money, I guess.
Yeah, right. And it's kind of interesting because people talk a lot about, they say, like, you know, mining is centralized in China and all that. But if you also there's another thing going on, like what you just said. Those guys said they're subverting the system because they're turning value that's controlled by the state, like electricity and other stuff, into value that's not controlled by them, into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting thing if you think about it.
Yeah. I don't know who this guy is. I found him on YouTube though. He only had like 14 views, but I like what he said. So
yeah, it's gonna flag. YouTube's gonna flag it if you do video, and it's gonna get copyright flags and all that stuff.
I get those all the time.
Oh really? I guess if you use a lot of samples, you do get them.
Yeah, I'm a sample-based producer all the way. I've had lawsuits, copyrights, all that crap. It's fun.
Damn. Wow. Damn.
Album take.
Wow. So this one has a video.
Yeah.
This is the Burr.
Money's printer go Burr. Faith in my money's the official said. Yeah, I made this song before this whole new economic COVID collapse. I made this. This is actually the first song I made for the album in the fall, and it was more to do with the 2008 economic collapse. And then by the time the album was finishing up, we had our new collapse, and so I had to add a little bit more to it and kind of get it up to date. But either way, like without any of it, it's still. I only put a little bit more in. Like it's still like about the 2008 for the most part. So like it still speaks to you now. You know what I mean? Just the way everything.
Yeah. It's still very relevant.
Yeah.
I've seen some really good YouTube videos of people doing the Burr themselves.
Like the Cardi B Burr.
Yeah, well, there's also a guy that just has a printer and he's just printing $100 bills, and he's making the sound himself. Burr. And there's some real creative ones. It really took off as a meme.
That's awesome. Yeah, whoever's listening, y'all can watch this video and that Dark Market video over there on the YouTuber.
Yeah. So who's the MC in this one?
There's no MC.
Oh, okay, it's just samples. Okay, right.
It's all samples, chopped, yeah. And I used a bunch of memes to make this video. I think I might take one of them and put it on Super Rare. The one of what's his name? His head blowing up. Munchkin's head blowing up. And the honey badger coming out and dancing.
Right. So how do you make money producing really dope albums like this nowadays?
Making money, yeah. This is definitely more for the love of it. But
I know, but I mean, just in general. I mean, because I wanted to lead into because you do sometimes events like about tokens, and because we see how the NFT and art, and that's still in its infancy, but we've seen it, evolve over time into what it is now, which is a lot bigger than it started. And like it hasn't really done that with music. It could. But it's still kind of complicated. I know you do events and talks and stuff about like tokenization of music, but I mean, but just if I were to release something now, what could I expect, or how could I, get money or like sustain myself by doing this kind of stuff?
Yeah. So what my plan is with this is I'm putting it out through regular channels, distribution, streaming on Bandcamp for download of high quality. And then what I've done also is I've used Bitcoin by using Joe Looney's Freeport app and creating a crypto piece. I made the Dark Market album cover. I tokenized it, and anybody that pre-orders the album will get that collectible. So all you have to do send a proof of purchase to the website or the emails. When you purchase it, you get the email, and you just send a proof of purchase, and then and then you send your Bitcoin or your counterparty address, Bitcoin address, and I'll send you the token. So it's kind of like a early proof of purchase, early support token, Patreon token. I'm trying to use
that's cool.
No use case for it, maybe down the line, but I could maybe make it an access token or something, but I'm not promising anything.
Yeah, well, that's so much technical work. I mean, that's the thing with the NFTs I see too, is that, artists need to be artists and make art, and musicians need to be making music, and you need the technical stuff too, but it's hard to do both. Become a programmer and a musician. It's already creative enough to be a programmer. Let them just do their creative stuff. You know what I mean? Like so if you have to figure out how to do an access token, and you have to do some kind of custom,
exactly,
whatever, it's just really
stepping out of your wheelhouse real far, and it's dangerous when you're doing that, because you could have people's wallets get exposed on your dime. People checking out your website, going to your access page, and then some fucking, you know.
Right. So basically, besides the normal distribution, you have a NFT for early supporters, and that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's a good way to do it. That's straightforward too.
Straightforward, and then I'm gonna put some of the artwork on some of the various platforms like Super Rare, probably Rareable, Freeport, et cetera, whatever. I don't even know yet, but I'll keep it going with the Bitcoin stuff. I would like to sell the album for Bitcoin. I feel like a couple years ago there was more options. Right now there's really not too many good options, except for like, you know, third party.
I would the only way I would know how to do it is on your own website and use like a plugin like BTC Pay Server or BitPay or something. Yeah. That's the only way I know how to do it.
I wish there was some kind of lightning streaming service that we could put together.
That would be cool. Yeah, so anyone listening, you know, get it going. I know that there are things like that, you know, like this is funny.
Yeah, this is a Simpsons sample from their show a couple months ago they did about Bitcoin. I sampled one of the guys singing in it.
It'll be a flight of capital and it's all gonna flood into Bitcoin.
Advisor better add 1 to 5% of this Bitcoin related product into their book of business.
Plan. Hold up.
That's cool. Yeah, and also Tune went down. Did you notice that?
Man, fuck Tune, dude.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I knew it would always be a risk that some new thing.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Out. But I mean, it
was just whack.
It was annoying, whack, but it was annoying because I used that kind of like how I would use SoundCloud, and I gave people just friends, just casual stuff, not an official release, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I like their player. I like their site.
It was good, right? And it was cool how it was cool for that. And then, you know, someone said the link doesn't work, and I said, "What do you mean it doesn't work?" And I was like, "Oh, it went down." So anyway, for people that don't know, there was a site trying to do kind of some type of monetization for streaming with crypto and so on, but it just basically disappeared almost overnight without warning.
I feel like the FTC came out and did some big thing. I think a lot of those companies. I don't know. Is Ujo still going on?
I have no idea. I haven't had time to keep track of what crypto music platforms or anything. But I haven't heard of anything really amazing. So
I haven't heard of any kind of innovations going on. Like, I know people have been talking about it. I know there's been some things, but no great strides really.
So what do you think is the big hurdle or the big friction point for such a platform? Besides UX, UI design, I mean, of course it should look good, be easy to use, but
that's a major thing.
That's a major thing? Okay.
Secondly, is education of using crypto a little bit. I think people would be hesitant. Most artists, I pitch to so many artists, and only a small percentage really take the initiative. Even after I'm like, I kind of have the same pitch. Like, say when Tune was up, when you have a streaming service, like it takes you another 10 minutes to put it up on Tune after you put it up on SoundCloud for free. Why don't you put it up on Tune and you get, maybe some worthless tokens, maybe some not worthless tokens. It doesn't matter, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's there. So like, why not take that 10 minutes of your time and risk the reward?
Yeah.
It was better. This time around it wasn't, because I think I have a bunch of note tokens. I don't know what to do with them, but I don't even know. I don't think I had them. I think they held them.
I don't think I had them either, but it doesn't matter. It didn't cost a lot to try that. I mean, it was just...
Exactly. It's like experimentation, and then at the same time when you do that experimentation, whether it's, going to last or not, you learn about how the space kind of works and form your own opinion about things.
So tell us who's Fleetwood and K Beta.
Fleetwood DeVille is an artist from St. Louis by way of DC, and then K Beta is an artist from Virginia. K Beta he was probably the most experienced user, I think, in this album. Cryptocurrency user.
Yeah, not something else user.
Yeah. Well, he might be. I don't know. He can interview him about that. Yeah, so it's a quick album. It's 25 minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, then on the other side, then let's say that I'm someone that likes your album or other people's albums. How can people, besides just, I guess, paying for the download, or how do people support music artists now? Buy swag, pay for downloads. How do you do it? What should they do?
And you got to sell some tangible goods. The streaming money doesn't add up too much unless you have a big record. But you gotta buy the album if you want, or vinyl's big right now. T-shirts. You could buy crypto tokens that show off your swag or whatever. I guess right now the show money's not coming, so you can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, maybe more people are online buying stuff because they're at home or they should be at home mostly. So
yeah. It's funny though. Streaming is down right now.
That's
because
weird.
most people stream on their commutes to work or in the office and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Interesting.
You'd think it'd be up, but
that's interesting. I guess they're too busy watching Netflix or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not everybody in the family agrees on
right.
the latest Nipsey Hussle album.
Okay, so. All right, so you got this. The album is, it's kind of like a story, and it goes into the Bitcoin fundamentals about why maybe some people got into this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it's open for part 2. What would part 2 be? What would part 2 be about?
I don't know. I think that the part 2 can't come until the more narrative goes in, it kind of follows through where it's going.
Right.
So, it's kind of right now where I think we're in a bit of a middle ground of where it's going. Like people are scared of regulations. Other people are ready to see Bitcoin take off after the collapse of society. And
right. Yeah. So
what have you,
yeah, definitely. So what have you heard on your end, just in your, whoever you talk to, if they, picked up Bitcoin during this whole crisis going on? Like, for example, I talked to someone the other day that I wouldn't say is an experienced user or anything, but they bought Bitcoin once last year, and they sometimes ask me about it, and they said, yeah, I bought some Bitcoin and I got it at a really good price when it went down. And I'm like, oh, that's fine, that's pretty cool. And so I've been hearing a little bit more of people interested in it that are coming out of the woodwork a little bit, asking me questions. And what's weird is that usually happens when the price goes up a whole lot, like, thousands of dollars up, and then people come asking. But it didn't really go up. It went down, actually. I mean, it's gone up, the past 2 weeks, it's definitely gone up some, but I've heard a lot of people some people ask me about it. Have people been asking you, or what's your?
Yeah, man, I've been getting all types of asks about it, and then I got a phone call yesterday from somebody I haven't talked to in 10 years, out of the blue. And he was like, he wanted me to talk his ear off about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
yes.
Look, that's pretty interested. I saw that the searches for Bitcoin halving or whatever is up quite a bit. So people are looking.
Yeah,
and, with this whole money printer go burr movement going on with the Fed, it makes people wonder, like, what's another alternative? So they're going to seek out those answers.
That's true. Money machine go burr. Yeah, that is that is true. It's it's kind of hard for people to understand, but yeah, it does have people thinking. I think you're definitely right, and a lot of people are probably hurting if they invested in stocks or anything like that in the last 3 years. Now it's
definitely.
They got dumped on. Now they know what it's like. They got wrecked.
They got wrecked.
They got riggedy wrecked. So, all right. So if we want to get in touch with you, how do we do it?
You can follow me on Twitter at Skrilla Ventura. You can go to rareskrilla.com and stay up to date. And yeah, that's about it.
All right.
After this Bitcoin album, we have a bunch of other. Me and my partner have a group called Guns and Butter. So we have a bunch of
Guns and Butter. Guns and Butter. Not bad. Yeah. I like that name.
Yeah. So lots of stuff coming out there, and that's gnbsound.com for that stuff.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, and everybody. Check out the links. I'll put some links to the Guns and Butter and Rare Skrilla. And
pre-order that Sound Money album. You can pre-order it on iTunes and Google. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but it'll be out in a couple of days from now.
Definitely pre-order, and you need to get the NFT, the non-fungible token, because it's a timestamp of history. It's a highly collectible item. This is not investment advice, but it's a blockchain rarity.
Yeah, you're basically showing proof that you supported the Sound Money album, and you can also pre-order it now at Bandcamp, rareskrilla.bandcamp.com if you want. And that gives you access to a high quality WAV file download if you're an audio file.
All right. Thanks a lot, and talk to everyone next time.
All right. Thanks, man.